All right, good morning folks, and that is why I always fish a jig. They just deter a lot of small fish. We'll get that fish back, turn the camera around, and we'll talk about what we're doing today. Today is kind of a continuation of what I was doing last weekend. Last weekend I ended up fishing really shallow flats and really dirty water, and I didn't really get an opportunity to fish those sharper breaking banks. Right now during these low light hours, we're fishing that 0 to 3 feet range with a jig, thick wood cover, wrenching out some nice bass. So let's get back to it. Let's see if we can catch some good ones and see how the day unfolds. Stay tuned. There's bass number 2 off that same pile of wood I caught the first one off, guys. Another absolute beautiful bass. Big bass love that jig. Beautiful fish. The fact that I caught 2 really nice bass off that little pile of wood you see behind me makes me want to kind of talk more in depth about that spot. That spot looks really appealing to me because we have some thicker gauged branches going into the water there. Those are some nice thick trunks that bass like to set up under and around. It's really important to take advantage of that kind of cover in these low light hours. The water clarity is probably 2 feet, and as the light from the sun penetrates more through that water, those fish are not going to be set up on that. So take advantage of that thick wood cover early in the day when those fish will be up on that stuff. As the day progresses, those fish will likely push off. So let's get back out there, see if we can wrench a couple more. We got a lot of good wood there. There's a lot of opportunity for some nice bass right there in these early morning low light hours. Let's get back to it. That's one pile of brush, bass number 3. Oh, I love when that happens. You think you're done, you're swimming your jig out of the cover and the one follows it. Not a big bass, but definitely shows that we're in the right place. As the day progressed, my intuition was beginning to tell me that those bass were holding a little differently than they had the previous week. The previous weekend I went fishing, we were on the back end of a cooling trend, and this weekend we are right in the middle of a warming trend. Those water temperatures were kicked up a few degrees, and something was just telling me that those fish were not holding the same as they had been the previous week. So what I did was I started looking at my down inside imaging. I started scanning the surface of the water, scanning the entire lake for any signs of life. I was looking for feeding bass. I was looking for any clues I could take that would help me find those bass. And what I had noticed was every now and then some bass would slip up onto this flat from a break and they would take out a couple shad. And that's where I started focusing my efforts. A few casts later, I got into a small fish or 2, and from there it only got better. Like and subscribe if you're digging it so far. Let's check this out. There it is. That's what I fucking wanted. Swimming that freaking Ned Rig. Hang tight. Heart freaking racing. Come on, stay on. Ooh, guys, that's another big fish right there. That is a beautiful fish, guys. That is a thick, big, beautiful fish. Heavy. Get that one back. Oh, that's another good kicker. Look at that beautiful fish in the water. Heavy fish. There it goes. Back to the depths. Swimming a Ned Rig, guys. They're not really on bottom. They're keying in on those shad that are bunched up against this break. It's like a foot of water all in there, and then it breaks off into 10, into 20 feet of water. And those fish just push all those shad up there. They're basically corralled. These bass just guard and move through this break here. They just go back and forth, I think, and just pick off shad. But that does not make them easy to catch. We have no wind. We have 100% sunshine, and typically when you have conditions like that, those fish get really tight-lipped. Really grateful that fish gave me the opportunity to get it in and get it released. We'll try again, see if we can keep doing this, swimming this Ned Rig. There we go, guys. I'm trying to mimic a beat up shad. Look at that fish, guys. Another beaut. Not as big as the last, but I'm getting that quality by following that forage and using the clues nature is giving me. I'm coming up with some beautiful, beautiful bass here at the end of my day. It took me a long time to pattern these fish in. Just trying to figure them out, and I think I finally got them figured out. Found that cadence. There we go, guys. Bass number 6, I think. Look at the size of these fish. Look how freaking muscular they are. Breaks, swimming like injured bait fish, reading nature. Lots to talk about. Lots of good details I'll bring up again later in the basement. So what made me arrive at fishing a Ned Rig and swimming a Ned Rig? A Ned Rig like this is very weedless on a chunk rock break. I was fishing a chunk rock break, lots of snags in there, and this lure specifically is very tough to get hung up in that chunk rock. So the main reason was just so I wouldn't get broke off. The deal was I started fishing that break with this on the bottom. I was fishing it on the bottom, but I was getting 0 bites. I wasn't getting a sniff fishing this off the bottom, but I knew fish were there. So I knew that I had to make a change. I have caught fish swimming Ned Rigs before, so what I decided to do was just change the cadence of my Ned Rig. Instead of bouncing it a little bit on bottom, I started swimming it, ripping it off bottom, and then letting it settle. Ripping it off bottom, letting it settle. Ripping it off bottom, swimming it, letting it settle. I would get that bait probably sometimes 3-4 feet off the bottom of that break and let it settle. And those bass would either hit it while I was swimming it, or they would hit it on the fall, and I would feel the weight of that fish and set the hook. So it was just a slight change of cadence that helped me get from 0 fish to I think 6 total on that break and 3 really nice fish. So that is how I arrived at fishing a Ned Rig. I probably could have fished a lot of different lures in this situation once I had those fish dialed in. I could have fished a jerkbait. I probably could have fished a deep diving crankbait. I probably could have fished a soft jerkbait. I could have fished any number of lures as long as I was swimming it up off the bottom near where those fish were hanging out and corralling those shad. I'm very comfortable with fishing soft plastic lures on jig heads, and I can gauge their depth very well in comparison to some of those other lures. So I was just fishing what I am comfortable with and confident in. I hope you guys are digging the content so far. That's all I got for you today. Like and subscribe, guys. Helps me so much. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm trying to give out amazing, good content. I'm trying harder every day to make these videos better, more educating, more entertaining. Help me subscribe and like, comment. Love that stuff, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care. Catch yourself some fish.